Alongside Brent Hubbs, I'm Austin Price for the 2 Minute Drill on this Monday. Just heard from Jeremy Pruitt. Brent, after watching the tape, I won't say not happy, but he knows that they can do a lot better. Even citing the offensive line, which got so much praise after Saturday, saying too many orange jerseys standing around watching the play finish on Saturday.
Yeah, I don't think Jeremy Pruitt's having Tennessee Valley Authority offensive line posters made and hung up in the office anytime soon. And that's not because he's displeased or felt like they played bad. He thinks that there's a chance for them to play at a higher level, and he knows they have to play at a higher level than what they played at the first 2 weeks. Because if anybody watched Georgia Auburn Saturday night, that game was played at a different level of intensity than what Tennessee's played their first 2 games at. Jeremy Pruitt knows that. He knows what's coming. He's trying to make sure that some guys on this football team are aware of what Saturday afternoon is going to be like between the hedges, because there will be an attitude that is played with on that field. And if Tennessee doesn't match that attitude, it could be a long afternoon.
Not very committal on Sean Schamberger. It definitely feels like he's going to play. I think more cat and mouse with the head coach. That we see in big games like this. Nobody wants to give anybody an edge, especially when the two sides know each other as well as Tennessee and Georgia know each other, because coaches have coached at the school or they've been in the same similar type system.
No doubt. And look, I mean, I think Jeremy Pruitt's in big game mode. And so, not a lot of jokes today, not a lot of humor, lightheartedness. I mean, he's pretty dialed in already to get ready to play. He knows this is a big opportunity for his team. He's got plenty that he can motivate his team with, the fact that they're a 2-touchdown underdog. But, as much as he was pointing out things the offensive line did poorly, he was quick to note some things defensively that he needs to see improvement on, and that's particularly in the back end. I don't think he's elated with the way this secondary has played through 2 games. Austin, they've given up 9 plays of 20 yards or more. Not all that's on the secondary. A couple that have been running plays. But he said, the defense has got to get more tied together. They've got to catch balls when they get their hands on them. Kenneth George dropped 2 interceptions on Saturday, and their eye discipline has to be better because, again, I think Jeremy Pruitt knows this is the best offense his team has played all season, through 2 games. This is the best defense they've played. This is the best team they've played. His team's got to match a lot of that moving forward in week 3, and he knows they have the opportunity to do that, but they can't be satisfied where they are right now. I think the underlying meaning out of today's, media session was a message to his team through the media. Nobody better be satisfied and patting themselves on the back for what they've done to this point.
Well, I think he knows to get the program where he wants to get it to, you've got to win these games. And as I told Chris Lowe on the Nation Sunday night when we discussed, the most winnable of the big 3 being Florida, Georgia, and Alabama. And I said this one, because it's now. You've got to think in terms of now. You can't think about, Florida, probably might be a little more winnable. It's at home, those type of things. This game is this week. You're 2-0. There's some positive momentum around the program. And let's face it, to win guys like Amarius Mims and Nyland Green on the recruiting trail, I'm not going to say winning Saturday lands those guys, but I think it goes a long way to showing them, hey, we have taken a huge step.
I don't think there's any doubt about that. And here's the other thing, too. I mean, listen, Jeremy Pruitt's going to have Georgia being the 85 Bears on defense.
He had Missouri being the 85 Bears.
They'll be the best team that he's ever seen by the time the week's over. And he was very, very glowing in his praise of the day. And Georgia's a good football team. I don't think Auburn's a very good football team. I think they've shown they're an average team. They may get better, but right now they're dealing with what they lost in the line of scrimmage on defense and the fact that they've got a bunch of new offensive linemen up there. And Chad Morris's system is trying to blend in with Gus Malzahn and stuff. I mean, they're struggling. Okay. Let's face it. Kentucky outgained them. Kentucky, one time of possession, really manhandled Auburn, but Kentucky did Kentucky things to get themselves beat. Arkansas, I think that's a nice win for Sam Pittman. They tried to give it away late, but they're not, that's not a physical team yet. I mean, this is a Georgia team that's got all the parts and it's going to get all the praise. They haven't been greatly tested. It's a Tennessee team that appears to have more parts, who's probably been tested more than Georgia has. And so we'll see how these 2 teams go about. But listen, this is a good Georgia team who's not been tested a whole lot. And this is a Tennessee team that improved a lot from week 1 to week 2. what kind of improvement can they make in week 3?
So to recap, it's a big game. It's Georgia week, and it's Monday. Long way to go till Tennessee and Georgia coming up Saturday at 3:30. For Brent Hubbs, I'm Austin Price.